anyone there? Don't know. I'm just setting up. So if you're there, great. Yes. Why can't I see it on my screen again? This happens, have you noticed? It happens every single time that I'm trying to set up, which is ridiculous. It's a bit dark as well. I hope you can hear me. Enter full screen. Hopefully I'm the right orientation. Hi Nahid. I miss you. I hope you're doing okay. Oh, echo. Hopefully no echo now. Hi Bernie. Does it appear dark on your screens? I don't know how to adjust the light so it is a bit brighter. This is that time of the year, right? Hi Sheila. Does this help? Does it make it brighter? Not really. Probably something I should check beforehand. Can you see the shadows? This is fun. I'm enjoying this. I don't know how to fix it. Oh, thank you, Nahid. I'll hopefully see you in December, though, at ENGG. Well, I'm hoping you're coming. Should I move it upwards? Will it be brighter? I don't know. I give up. At this point, I really do give up. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Jean. So I've just put a few tags out, basically, as usual. I'll just wait a couple of minutes before a bit more than a couple of minutes before I start. And I'm hoping I've remembered to take everything out after the Groovi shows yesterday from the bag. If not, I'll be obviously like digging into my bag to get the bits and pieces out. I don't know. I'm hoping I've got everything out. It's just too difficult to think about this morning. But to be honest, I think we only need our tool, right? And thread and coloring materials and masking tape and Groovi tabs and Groovi guard and we need a lot. So I'm hoping I've got everything. Is everyone having a good weekend? Hi Sheila, hi Sue. Yeah, what am I doing? I got back yesterday at about I got home about 8:30, and then we had relatives over, and I think everyone was still here at about 11ish. Yeah, 11:15. Everyone was still here. At one point, I even got up and I said, okay, I'm going to bed now. I'm exhausted. And then the conversation turned to something that was just so funny. So I didn't get very far. Next thing I knew, I'm downstairs. And then, I think most of you know that these Facebook Lives and the things I've been posting every day, the beading bits, are for the fundraiser that I'm doing for November. And at about 11:45, I thought, I've forgotten my today's little bit. I had taken it to Create and Craft with me to work on in the morning before the first show. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then it will become the next day. And today's the 18th. Yesterday was the 18th, right? And I was like, I'll have 2 posts on the 19th, but none on the 18th. So then in a panic, I was like trying to post yesterday's little bit make. Does that make sense? It was just so funny. I was like, oh my gosh, that's leaving it a bit sort of close, right? But there you go. That was that really. So that was my evening once I got back. And then just now, like literally when I was posting to just as a reminder that, we're going live in about half an hour, I realized I haven't posted the cards from yesterday's show. So I'll have to do that a bit later today, because I know some of you follow that and try and make the card from whatever I demo. So I must do that on my to-do list. It's so funny. I'm going to move these, and I'm just going to leave basically the ones that we are going to use. Well, kind of use. Oh no, I need you. Don't flutter away, dragonfly. And today for sure, we are going to be here less than 4 hours. Mind you, we weren't quite 4 hours last week. We were 3 hours, 50 minutes. Just saying. Wow. That was a long session. It was like later when I went in, and like then I was like, oh, my kids haven't eaten. I haven't fed the family. I haven't even thought about food. So it was like, oh my gosh. But no, we're going to keep it shorter today. Well, hopefully. I say this, and the chances are it's not going to be short. Well, it will be shorter. It will definitely be shorter than last week, because last week what happened, I ended up doing embossing, which takes a while. Well, I didn't do that much embossing, but it added a few minutes to it, and then obviously I decided to do picot cutting, so that added some time to it. Today we're keeping it pretty simple. Just we are basically only for that reason. We are full stop. Anyone? Oh, I dropped it. Hold on, bear with. I'm here. I'm just dropping things as usual. Story of my life. So, yeah, we have this tag. This is the one we're going to do today. But then I was having a play with the same plates, and oh, sorry, I'm completely off screen, aren't I? Maybe I've put the camera too close or something. I don't know. So, yeah. This is what we are creating. Yeah. This is the one using the same plates, but just a teensy bit little different, in where I basically made up the borders and all that by using various elements on the plates we are using. The only extra plate on this one is the nested picot circles, the Groovi plate, to just put that circle. And that circle was actually such a perfect fit for the last dot to fit on this one. So this last hole here is where the bead is here, but that circle fitted so well. It was just absolutely perfect. And I didn't even know until I started playing, and thought, oh wow, that was lucky, to be honest. So yeah, this is pretty much made up with the frame and things. For anyone who wants to know, the circle in there is the second largest, but the smaller one of the second largest. So not the double circle, but the smaller one, the smaller ring for the second largest. Yeah, because what I knew I wanted to put flowers in there, but if I just put flowers with no circle around it, for example, they would have just floated. So I think I felt I wanted to give it somewhere inside for it to sit, if that makes sense. So I did the circle. And then I've got the butterflies, and I made extra holes on the butterflies to stitch. And actually that's one of the things we're going to do. So we're going to change it a little bit. You can do it as it is here with the dragonfly and that. But what I want to do for this one is I want to introduce a few different things as how you can, for example, if you do enjoy the stitching on parchment, there is a lot of designs, Groovi plates you probably already have, that you could actually turn them into, do stitching within those elements of your other plates. So if I show you the basics of how you can go about, putting extra elements. And if I show you the plate, actually that might help. So it was the butterfly here, this butterfly here, and you can see that that wasn't a stitched element on this plate. It was just emboss or picot cut or whatever you wanted to do. So I've used this one to turn it into a stitch design. So I definitely want to get to that point where I want to show you how to do that, because as well, when you look at no, not when you look at, forget it. No, I'm not saying anything. Just let's just forget that conversation I just started. It's so bad. Seriously, it's so bad. So what I'm hoping to do is, you know, I have absolutely no plan, by the way. Hi, Catherine. Hi, Sue. No plan whatsoever. I think we're going to wing it. We're definitely using this from this plate. Yeah, this from this plate. In here, we're going to put 3 of these teeny tiny butterflies rather than the dragonfly. For those who have already done a couple of, like the last 2 Facebook lives with me, you know how to do a fan, right? If you're new today who is joining in for the Facebook live and hasn't seen how to do the fan, watch back the last 2 lives, because they both have had fans. So I thought it would be really nice to do something a little bit different, where I'm showing you how to turn you know, a design into a, with holes and things, to be able to stitch it. So we're going to do that. In this design, we're keeping the rest the same. Yes? I hope. Hi, Anne. Yeah, so that's the general idea, basically. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put that on the side. I'm using just clear parchment today, only because like all my rainbow parchment and things is like still in the bag. That's definitely one thing that didn't make it out today. I've already die cut the second largest. Oh, I forgot. I will put this, once it's downloaded and everything, I will upload it onto YouTube for anyone who prefers watching on YouTube. The other thing is, if any links come up, please don't click on any links, because this time around I've forgotten to do the settings where links are not allowed. So please do not click on any links. Yes, it's probably spam. It says, I forgot to set it up this morning to remove the links. So I'm just going to line it up. So I've die cut the second largest. Because this is for Alzheimer's UK fundraiser part of it, I am using, as many of you know, I'm still sticking to orange for all my stitched Groovi lives, Groovi Tag lives for this month. So mine is still going to be orange. What I did do is, though, I have pretty much given up on trying to create an orange I like. Hi, Linda. Happy birthday, Linda. Everyone, it's Linda's birthday today. Just saying. I hope you're having a good day, Linda. And yeah, once again, I forgot to run the tumble dryer sheet first before I stuck it down. It's always a good idea to do that first, but like I've said before, I'm quite careful when I put the tumble dryer sheet, and I keep it on the thingamajig, on the Groovi Tag. Oh my gosh, where's the words? On the parchment, on the parchment. I hope I'm not too close to the screen, because I definitely think I've positioned the camera a bit lower than I usually do. So it may go out of focus when I'm using my tool, for example, because the camera is quite close. Just bear with me while I turn down the heating, because I'm melting a little bit. And let's let's not knock the camera over. I am so professional. Not. So, Groovi Tab, sorry, Groovi Guard. And I'm going to do both the outlines using the number 1 tool. So anyone who's just joining in now, can I please just remind, don't click on any links if anyone posts any links, because I've forgotten to set it up so that, you know, it links are not allowed. So yeah, don't click on any links in case there's anyone who thinks it's great fun to, you know, in the comments just post spam stuff. I don't know how people enjoy or why they do it. I'm not sure they enjoy it. There must be a reason they do it, right? I don't know what they get out of posting spam stuff. It's very weird, very weird. But yeah, I think with technology, social media, it's just one of those things. And just going to move the Groovi tabs over this way and the other one over this way. And finish the little bit there. Just going to So we're going to make up the design. Like I said, I'm not going to go do the dragonfly within that circle. I'm going to, we're going to create our own design basically. So there we go. Hi, Sue. So second largest, so we've got this. I'm going to put this one out of the way because I do not need that at the moment. So we're heading towards this. Now we have options, right? On this one, like I said, we are not creating all this fancy stuff because it will just take far too long for us to do that today. And maybe we can come back to it on another day because I'd love to do, I love this center bit. So maybe on another day, when I'm a bit little teensy weensy bit less tired, we can come back and do this one. I just absolutely love this. Please say you love it too. Anyway, just, yeah, we have options. We can do this one where I've created it sort of like a bauble, hanging decoration, and the panel here is just over the top. Or you have the option here where this is sort of in the middle and you have the band almost like a ribbon that's going behind it and coming out on both sides. I think that is going to be your preference as to what you prefer. I am going to go with, I think, because they're both different, right? This one has that circle in there. We're not doing the circle because, to be honest, I forgot to mention the nested picot circles plate. So I'm sure a lot of you will not have it at hand. So we're not going to put the circle and everything, in which case we don't need all these diddly-doos around. But what we're going to do is we're going to use this circle or this flower pattern, all the dots here, and put 3 butterflies in there. So that's the only thing that's going to be different. But I'm going to let you decide whether you prefer it this way and you have this at the end here, or whether you prefer it this way. Yeah, I'll let you decide. No, actually, no. Shall I let you decide? Shall I not let you decide? I should really let you decide, shouldn't I? That would be a nice thing to do. Do I feel nice today? I'll let you decide. But before you start, let me explain a couple of things to get the positioning of this ribbon bit in the right place, right? Let's start with this one. So if you're doing this one with this piece sort of on one side, but having the ribbon on either side, what you're going to need to do first is approximately very close to this line, you're going to emboss using the number 1 tool and the butterfly plate, this butterfly plate. You are going to emboss a circle. Yeah, it's a bit hard to put it both. There you go. That might be better. Is that better? Can everyone see that better? So you're going to emboss a circle, this shape, and a circle. And both diddly-doos, well, use this one. Don't use the end one because the end one doesn't have one there. So if you use this one, for example, at least you have the diddly-doos on either side of the circle like here. So that's how you're going to start first. If you're going with this design like this, you're going to put on one end these 2 circles and this, and then on the other end, you're going to come this way, where you're going to do, again, can you see how close it is to those rings? Yeah, I've kept it quite close to the rings. You're going to do the shape here, a circle, another, this shape, whatever it's called, and another circle. Now, when you get to the edge, when you get to this circle, don't put the, well, you're only going to put the end dots because you're not going to get the full fan over there. Am I making sense? You're only going to get the ends. I would suggest leave out the dots for the moment. Just do the circles, 2 circles and 2 of these. You can do the dots for this one, but leave out the one on this side and this side until you have put this design, because you'll have enough space here then to put this design in. Yeah? So again, quite close this side and quite close this end, so you can fit the full flower shape if you're going with this one. Okay? If you're going with this one, this way, you're going to start with this design. And you're going to keep it quite close, again, to the outline, the double tag outline. Yeah, I've only kept, it's about 1 millimeter space, but quite close. The reason being that you want to be able to fit 3 of these at the top. If you go very high up, you're only going to get part of this, which means this bit will be left, this bit will be left unstitched. You won't have space. So by keeping it low, you'll be able to fit 3 of these and 3 circles. Yeah? I hope that makes sense. Personally, I think this is simpler to do. Okay? Because, well, this is simple as well, to be honest. It's just you need to work these 2 on either side first before you get around to putting the fan. No, sorry, the flower shape in. That's the only difference. But with this one, once you put the flower shape, you can then, you know, do the rest all in one go rather than shifting it from here to there and there to here. What I have forgotten to put out is my A5 square plate mate. So I'm going to use it without the plate mate because, well, I've forgotten, it's in my bag and I'm not going to dig it out. The other thing you want to make sure is, sorry, if you're doing it this way, if you're doing this one, you want to make sure the points of these, yeah, are sort of middle-ish around there. Yeah, because what happens is if it's not middle-ish, well, if you do it this way, so that these 2 are at the top and bottom, so if you, yeah, so instead of the dips as being your tops and bottoms, if this is top and bottom, you're not going to get the full design here. It may be better to put this one first and then do the flower at the end. work it your way. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I started with the flower first when I did this one. That's what I'm going to do now. So just to show you what I mean by the dip, so I want this and this sort of at a dip. And what I'm going to do is, if I show you, now it fits almost perfectly on either side of the tag. I'm going to just drop it a little bit, and if I line up some, I'm making sure that it's about 1 millimeter. It doesn't need to be a lot, but it's equal space there, and on either side it's touching, and that will give you a rough middle. I'm not going to measure it and all that. I don't think it's worth doing all that, to be honest. But yes, if you prefer to use your ruler and pencil and mark it out, do that on the front. Don't, especially if you're using colored parchment, don't draw your pencil lines on the back, because when you erase that pencil line, you're going to erase the color. But I'm winging it. So there we go. So I've got that down. Leave out the dragonfly. We're not going to use the dragonfly. Well, I'm not anyway. And I'm just going to tumble dryer that. Basically the flower and just the dots. The flower and just the dots. So number 1, 2, and dots. I'll post a close-up pictures of both of them later at some point, and you can have a look. If this is the one you're doing now, for example, you can have a look at the orientation of the other one, how I've positioned it, and you can always, you know, give it a go later if you like this particular design. And then next week we are using the new plate mate for the baby plates that were on the show on the 9th, and then yesterday we are using that plate mate to create, well, we're going to create a few bits and pieces here and there, and yeah, turn various designs into sort of embroidery designs. So that should be fun. I'm looking forward to that as well. These are becoming addictive, actually. You know, like earlier this week, I should have been finishing up the prep for yesterday's shows, except I was making tags. They're really addictive. So almost there, I'm on my last one. There we go. Whoopsie daisy. My chair is wheeling me out of the room. I'm going to take that off. I'll come back to the butterflies in a bit. Let's take that off to show you what that looks like on the front. So you can now see it's quite close to the edge. As a matter of fact, it's closer to the edge here than it was on my original card, on my original tag, but it really doesn't matter, because closer to the edge here won't matter. If we went higher up, like I said, we won't get the full design happening here. So next what we want is we want this plate here, and we're going to emboss 3 of these and 3 circles. So the circles will form, I'm just trying to think where I'm not going to put my hand over, because my A5 square plate is in my bag, which wasn't very clever, was it, Tina? No, it wasn't. So how do I know it's in the middle-ish? I'm just going to wing it, basically. Yeah, so about there. The only thing I need to be aware of is whether it's straight or not, because if I'm like this, then that's not going to dangle straight. So to make sure I'm sort of straight-ish and middle-ish, I know it's about there, right? And it's going to be middle about there. The main part is going to be the middle being the circle there. Am I off screen? The circle there, middle. And then to make sure I'm sort of straight, vertical, do you see this row of dots here? Just bring your tag so that it's parallel to these dots and these dots-ish. They're not quite touching, but you can use any of the guides because that is straight. The cut tag there is straight, which means if it's parallel along there, the edge and the dots, you're sort of straight. Yeah, does that make sense? Or like last week, we used Groovi tabs to stick down, and we used the edge to just line up, to help us line up judge where it would be about straight. But on this plate, we have dots here, which helps. So I'm just going to stick that down and stick this down about there. What am I doing? Am I going to emboss? So I'll let you decide what you're doing on yours, okay? So on this one, you can see I have embossed these white dots, the white circles. So on this one, if you're going to emboss the white circles, you're going to do them with the number 2 tool. On this one, I have used sequence where the dots are, in which case you're not going to see anything, and you can use just your number 1 tool. The other thing is on this one, can you see I've created extra holes, which I will show you how to do if you decide to stitch. I am going to do the extra holes because I want to show you how we can turn designs into stitching designs. So I'm going to do that because for me it will be a way to teach you how to go about using your other plates to turn them into stitching designs. So I'm going to do that. If you decide that you don't want to do any extra stitching, you can do white work. So on this, I've just embossed them. I still use the number 1. Well, for this one, I used the number 1 tool and then did a few flicks in there. So it's up to you. But if you want to learn how to put extra dots and things, then go with we're not going to emboss it. We're just going to use the number 1 tool to do that. So that's what I am going to do. I'm going to do everything using the number 1 tool. So this, the flowers, and you can see the flower petals, they don't have dots at the ends. We are going to add those in later when we get to the stitching bit. You're going to do these dots with the number 1 tool. And this. Now the other thing I didn't do is on this one, I didn't do the little fan shapes here. You can do them if you want, but I think if you're going to put a sequence, for example, you won't see much of it. So on this one, I haven't done it. It's up to you whether you want to stitch them or whether you want to put sequence. Yeah. If you put sequence, you don't need to do these extra ones on either side of them. I haven't decided what I want to do. I'm going to leave it at the moment. Although sequence is very tempting. Did I use sequence last week? I can't remember. I don't even remember what tag we did last week. Oh, the bells. We did the bells. I don't think I used sequence for that, did I? So maybe it might be worth putting sequence on this one because some of you may not have stitched sequence on your tags if you're joining me for the first time. this time around. In previous tags I've put sequins, but most of the time I've usually just stuck them down with glue dots. So it might be worth seeing how to do them, how to stitch them in if it's something you haven't done before. Yeah. So I'm not going to do those dots. I will show you the sequence on that. So I don't need to do that bit. Okay. So that's that design on there. What I'm going to do next is, so far we have got this, which looks a little bit like this. Yes, so we've got this and we've got our circle. We're not doing the flowers. That can be another one that you can do at a later point if you decide. On this one now, I'm going to put a few butterflies. So from the same plate that this ribbon is on, I'm going to use, I definitely want this butterfly because I want to show you how to use this butterfly to create it into a stitch design. So we have options. I can do a big butterfly and then 2 little ones, which I think would work. So if I have, for example, I want to leave enough space here for the stitching to go. So let me show you on a, do you see? So, but it's only a few millimeters in, so you've got quite a bit of space in all these scallop sections that you can go into, but don't go really close to the dots because you need to allow, it's about 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters that the stitching will sit. So leave some space, and I'm thinking maybe 1 big butterfly and then a couple of small butterflies. So if I put 1 big one, maybe about there, and remembering that when I turn it around, it's going to be facing the other way, which is actually not what I want. I want it to go face this way. So I need to move it this side to make sure it's facing, hold on, oh, no. Let's do it this way. So I've turned both my tag on the front and the plate on the front to help me decide where I want it. That makes more sense. That'll be easier to do than fiddling with, well, trying to figure out which way I want it. I definitely want it to head this way in my head. You can have it heading, so if you want it heading this way, you'll use this side, for example, and it can head that way. Actually, that looks quite nice too. And that fits better in this space. That fits better. So I'm going to hold the 2 things together to make sure I'm, yeah, she says. So I know I want it this side. Nothing like being very clumsy, and turn it over before I stick it down. So it was approximately there. I'm not going to be too fussy over it. It's just approximately there. So about there. I'm going to have 2, well, 1 big one. I'm not sure I'll get 2 big ones. Do you think I can get 2 big ones? Do you think I can put another one here? Oh no, decisions now. Okay, let's not do a repeat of last week where it took me so long to decide and then I kept everyone behind for 4 hours. Well, almost 4 hours. I'm just going with this one. Let's not do what I did last week. So I'm going to stick that down. Oopsie daisy. And I'm just going to give it a quick rub with the tumble dryer sheet again in that area. It doesn't really help not having the plate mate for the plate. So dots. Now at the end of these, I'm going to I think I will stitch beads. Since we are using sequins, well, since I'm using sequins, I'll just put beads at the end too. So just the butterfly wings, the dots. Oopsie daisy. And this one. I don't think I will get another big one. I think it will have to be small ones, which is fine. It's not a problem. Be quicker to do actually, the small ones. But I quite like this butterfly. I like flutterflies. Shall I see if I can fit one? I could just about fit one, but I think it will become too crowded. Unless, nah, I need that dot. I was going to say one can go behind another. I'm determined to get it. Can you see? I'm determined to get another one in. No, I am not going to get another. I think it will become too crowded. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, we've got the one big one here. I'm going to put a small one, maybe heading this way. And you can see in the small ones, there isn't the dots. We will add those to stitch a bit later. Oopsie daisy. Seriously. Slow down. So there's our second one. And then a third one. So this one, I think I will have it going this way, but maybe a little bit further up like this. Look at your butterfly bodies, which way they're going. So if you want your butterfly to go from left, flying from left to right, make sure your body is, you know, in the right curve. Because if I put this like this, for example, it looks like it's flying this way, but I want this butterfly to fly this way, since this one is going this way. Yeah, you know what I mean, right? Please tell me you know what I mean. I've got a lot of space here, but let's see what we can do. Let's just put this one in somewhere. I don't want to go too close to the dots because I need my embroidery to sit comfortably there somewhere. About there's fine, actually. I think no matter where we put it, it's going to look pretty. I'm just being fussy, aren't I? And that. So we've got 3 butterflies in there. What I'm going to do is I've got a little bit of space in places, and I think it would be really nice to put something. So let's look at, we've got, these are the 2 plates we are using. So on this plate, we have got these circles here, yeah, the flower shape, the daisy, well, hexagon shape, or this is cute too, but it would have to be a square, and I'm not sure I want a square. I think I'm more going towards this one. I like that. Let me show you one. So if I bring it down here, and you're going to put them randomly. Yeah. So for example, if I put one here, you want just one shape of the hexagon. Let me show you first. So there we go. You see, just one here, using just one. So I'm going to put a few, I'm going to sprinkle a few in here randomly where I think there is a lot of space, and I want to just fill up some of that space. It doesn't matter if you angle some of them, they don't all need to be straight. And I think it will fill up the space. It'll look very pretty. You can put as many as you want, as few as you want. Obviously, the more I put, the longer we're going to be here. And she starts again. I know, I wasn't supposed to be here. Well, I wasn't going to keep everyone here for that long this time. But I think these will look pretty. So I'm going to do this. Just a few here and there. Wherever you think you want to put some. I don't go too close to these dots though. Leave about 3 millimeter space between them. So I don't think I'll get one there, but I might get one here, very close to the butterfly. I hope I'm not confusing everyone by doing this now. I think that's fine. I think that'll look pretty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, no. We cannot have 6. We have to have 7. So I'm going to go with 7. Quite close. No. Or should I put it there? Do you know what? Decision making is not one of my stronger points. Is it? I think I need to turn it around and have a look. So I've got 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. When you're not certain where I want to put things, for example, you can pencil it out and see. But I think, to be honest, I'm going to leave it. Because if I put 1 here, then this space is going to look empty. So I'm just going to leave it at 6. It doesn't really matter. What I will do though is, since I've introduced them in here, I'm going to introduce a few here. So I might just, just a few, not too many. So maybe 1 there, 1 there. Maybe leave a bigger space. 1 there. Oopsie daisy, it moved. It's better to stick it down so it doesn't move. Don't do what I do. Bad idea. So how many have I got? I've got 4 and maybe 1. I don't know. Do you know what? We're going to be here forever. Because I think they're going to look super cute. That I need more. You don't need to know this many. Oh no, it's so bad. And it is honestly, it is random. It is random. I'm not like trying to, but I know. I think I'm gonna. Oh, I don't want 6. I don't want 6. Let's have 1 here. I don't want 6. It's a big space. I think 6 will really bother me. I'll just put 1 there. That will do. So 7. So at the moment, it looks like not much there. I've got 3 there, 4 there, and I've got a few sprinkled in there. Yeah? So I've got a few there. Yes, there is open spaces, but I personally love open spaces. It shows off the parchment paper a lot better. I think parchment paper is so pretty that I like to show it off. Okay, like I said, I want to show you how to turn these designs into stitching designs. So this butterfly here started off like this. So we need to put extra dots on here. And what I did is basically, it's so simple, seriously, it is so simple. I choose a petal, the 2 dots, just the top and bottom dot, and you're going to line it up, and so that in your teardrop, you've got the dot here, and you've got the dot at the top. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah? Whoopsie daisy. There you go. So again, I'm going to turn it around. So teardrop, so a dot at the base and a dot at the top. Yeah? The same. So now this one is a smaller one. This wing is smaller, so you can use the dot and the side because that's a shorter distance. Or if you've got any of your designs, if it's got even a smaller wing than that, then use, you know, something as short as these 2 dots. You're just going to see which dots fit the best, and you're going to use those 2 dots. So on this one, I'm using these 2 dots, the end 2 dots. Yeah, for the bigger wing, it was this 2. For the smaller wing, it's the side one. So once again, this one. So all your butterflies, flutterflies, you're going to do that depending on how many little ones you've put. And just put the dots in. So where the corner of the teardrop is to the outside, and then on the smaller one, the side dots. So now we've turned our butterfly into a stitching pattern, right? There we go, we've got a stitching pattern. Now, on this one, I've done a fan. I have put 2 more dots on either side. Can you see I've put 2 more dots on either side? If you wanted to put 2 more dots on either side, you're going to have to... I really know how to complicate things for you guys, don't I? So this to this is quite a small space, yeah? It's quite a short, it's a shorter space. So you're going to line up one of the dots, and you can mark it if you want. Or the other option is you can use your 2-needle tool, fine 2-needle tool, and you're going to use that as one hole. You're going to perforate there and there. But I don't have my fine 2-needle tool with me, so I'm just going to use the dots on this. It's easier, to be honest, to see over a light wave if you're going to do something like this. I don't even know which circle I'm using now. And you're going quite close to the outline. It's not going to, it doesn't need to be perfect. Trust me, it does not need to be perfect. We just want to create a fan. So even if you do it randomly, it is going to be absolutely fine. And you'll only be able to do this in the larger wing. The smaller wing is it's too thin. So only on the larger wing. And this is only if you want to know how to create, how to put dots in for embroidery using your other plates that you have, which are not embroidery plates, but you can, you know, use them for stitching. So when I've missed that one here, but there you go. So this one is a bit wonky. It doesn't matter. By the time I stitch all this, do you know what? No one is going to notice. It's just a guide to put a few dots in. But like I said, you can use your fine 2-needle tool to just perforate directly from the center dot out. I just can't decide which dot. It's easy. It's so much easier if you've got your light wave on to see which dots you're following. There we go. Oh no, don't put it away. I'm winging it. So from here to here, so on this one, I am creating extra dots. And you know, this is very easy because just pick any dot on any of this. But the easiest way to do is to pick an isolated dot. That's an isolated dot away from all the other confusion. And all you're going to do is put a dot at the end of each petal. So turn it, put a dot at the end of each petal. And what you've now done is you've created a the dots where we're going to poke, and you've now turned it into an embroidery design. Again, it's not something, if you feel confident, you don't even need to do the dots. When you come to perforate, you can just go ahead and perforate using your fine needle tool without the dot. It just depends on whether you feel confident enough to do that without putting this. And last flower. Do you know what? We are here longer than I thought we were going to be here just doing this. I am saying sorry to you guys from now. Now I'm on a roll. Seriously. This is the problem. When I'm doing embroidery, I get carried away because I have all these things in my head that are floating about that I want to do. Where's my dot gone? I said to the kids, no, I'm not going to be very long today. Honest, I'm not going to be very long today. And look at me, what I'm doing. There we go. Yes, we have got zillions of dots. Zillions and zillions of dots. Yeah? But it's going to look very pretty. Lisa is... Oh, you're finishing your roast dinner. I love roast dinner. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. I think, do you know what? We're going to leave it at that. And we're going to start doing the rest of the stuff on it before we get around to, what's it called? Stitching it. So I'm going to put the plates out of the way and color options. So now what I've already die cut I'm going with orange. I know it's a very yellowy orange, but that's all I could find with just plain orange. I wanted a plain orange this time. So that's going to be my backing paper. I want to highlight certain things on this design. So for example, I have got options of making either the background a different color or the main element or the flower center bit a different color and all these a different color, and leave the background paper just plain. So you've got options. For me personally, I'm going to color this flower center using a B pencil and these using a B pencil, and then I'm going to go in with my felt pens for the smaller elements and color those in. Because then that will make those elements stand out from the background a bit more, and leave this as, well, leave the rest of the parchment just plain and clear. In my case, I'm using clear anyway. I'm using orange, but I don't know, did I say earlier I gave up on trying to create an orange that I like? So I am going to basically go with my polychromo pencil, because it's got a nice orange, and at this point, do you know what, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go with the polychroma to give me a color. I am going to do my coloring over the light wave, and I'm going to do the whole base in the orange, and all these, the 3 ribbon bits in orange. But before I do that, I think I'll color my little elements with the felt pen first. It doesn't matter which way you do it. To be honest, it doesn't matter. But I'm going to color those first, because what I can do is then I can go ahead and color the whole thing with the orange, and it will give my butterflies a bit more sort of orangier look, if that makes sense. I've got options. I can use the orange felt pen, which is 23, but I think it will just become a bit too orange. Or shall I go with orange 23? Decisions. No, do you know what? I'm gonna go contrast. I'm gonna go pink for my elements. Don't ask me why, but okay. Everyone knows I like pink. That's why. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do, basically. So all the little elements all the little elements pink. So I'm using the felt pen on the back to color that. And if you go on the white line, it doesn't matter. I'm still going to color the whole thing orange. So my pink is not going to be this bright pink. Yeah, I could be very careful and go around so I don't give my pink an orange tint. But I'm not going to spend time doing that. I'm just going to color the whole thing when I get to the blending bit with the pergaliner pencils. If you already have polychromo pencils, you blend them in exactly the same way as B pencils. They work in exactly the same way. And I know that a lot of you who've been following Shaq, for example, would have the polychromos anyway. They're so pretty, and I have got one of the larger tins. But you know what? I don't use them because I'm one of those people who really doesn't like to sharpen her pencils. When you get the tin the first time, for example, they're all so nice and they're all the same length, all, you know, to the same point. And then when you start using them, they become different. And yeah, OCD makes me feel a bit like, no, I cannot do that. So I don't use my polychromos pencils, and I really should, because, wow, they're just sitting there. I've had them for so many years, about 25 years, I would think. And I don't use them, and I haven't used them, which is really sad, isn't it? So I've got streaks on there, but by the time I stitch it, it's not going to show. So I'm not going to stress over getting it streak free. These are a little bit larger areas than I usually color with felt pens. And I know while it's wet, you can blot it out with the tissue and things. But you have to do it pretty quickly to blot out the wet so it doesn't appear streaky. But like I said, because I'm going to be stitching in here over the top at the back, the streaks are not going to show. So I'm not going to stress too much about, you know, trying to get a blotting and all that. But it's up to you whether you do or not. So those are my main elements. Now these circles here, I'm not doing anything with because I'm going to put beads on those. So I'm going to leave those out. And if I show you what that looks like on this, well, not over the light box. It doesn't look like anything over the light box. There you go. So can you see it's already not looking as pink as it does when it's not on the orange. On the orange, it just takes the tone of, well, it looks a bit more red than orange, but it's given it a nice sort of color without it being too obviously the bright pink I used. And the pink I had used was 5. I love this pink. But I didn't want, yeah, well, I wanted pink. But that's okay. So, helico blade hand crank sharp. Oh my gosh, that's a mouthful, Nahid. Which makes it nice and easy to get lovely even points on them. Yeah, but then I would have to sharpen them all, even if I haven't used them all. But I know, I should use them. So like I said, I'm not going around all these elements because, well, I'm not. I'm just going to color over the top, and my pink will just take another tone. So I'm just going to go ahead and color that. And you can see I'm just scribbling. I am on the back because when I blend this will be absolutely fine. And it will stand out from the clear parchment, this section. so it will become even more highlighted. I keep saying in my head, stop saying but it's not happening. Do you guys have words, particular words that you repeat? Not intentionally, but I think it just becomes, I think it's not, yeah, a habit kind of thing. But like, yeah, words are gone. Just taking off like where I have the extra going out, for example. What I'm going to remember to do this time, or shall I do it pink? No, do you know what? I'm going to do it pink around here. So which way shall I come? Let's go this way. Between the double outlines, I'm just going to color it pink. It will be quicker than the pencil and that. And if you're not comfortable doing this, for example, with a felt pen, then use your pencil and you can blend it. And that's fine. It's very messy the way I'm doing it. I'm not being very careful. It's going on the white line everywhere. But as we know, on the front, everything will be fine. So we're just going to enjoy the process of this and not get too worked up over, you know, if it goes a little bit onto the white lines. It's not worth our peace, honestly. Now, usually when I'm using the broad end of the felt pen, I find that a lot juicier than the fine end. So you can see when I lift my pen, there's always a blob of color left. You have to just be careful that you know, you don't put your hand on that color blob like over there for a couple of seconds. Otherwise you're going to transfer that if on other in the other sections of the parchment if you're not careful. But it dries pretty quickly, so it's not something that you know it's going to that you need to worry it's going to take forever to dry. It's not. It's pretty quick. So I'm just going to put the felt pen back in there, out of the way, while I give it a couple of seconds to dry. Oh, do I want to? Do I not want to? Do you know what? I'm just going to keep all of you behind again. It's so sad. It's not really. I'm not really sad. But I feel I have to say it's so sad. I do want to. And this is what I want to. You don't have to. But I am going to. Because the ones in here are orange. Yeah, they'll be orange. So I just feel these need to be orange. It will just bring some of those orange in that section onto the surrounding. But you don't have to, honestly. But you really should. But you don't have to. No pressure. It will look really pretty if you do. No pressure. You don't have to. Okay, now I'm feeling silly. Does anyone get sort of sillier when they're like really tired? I get really silly when I'm really tired. And like there are times if I start laughing on something, I really cannot stop laughing. I just keep going and yeah, yeah. Okay, blending pen, blending nib, Dorso oil on a spot-on sponge. And we're going to blend that. I don't know how we're doing for time. I'm too scared to look. And we're going to blend that. Oh, that's a pretty orange. Finally, an orange I like. I should use my polychromo pencils more often. Seriously, there's such pretty colors in there. It's really sad I can't get myself to use them. Finally, I have a pretty orange, although I think it's probably going to clash with the backing paper now. I should have probably tried it on a little bit of scrap first and putting it on the backing paper. But I didn't. So that was that. So this is quite a large area. It is up to you whether you want to use your kitchen towel, kitchen napkin, tissue to blend it. I'm just going to go ahead with my blending nib. I use my blending nib for very large areas as well. If I've got it in my hand already, I'm not going to swap for something else. I'm sure I've mentioned it a few times. I'm a very lazy person. It does take longer though. It does take longer to do it this way. And my felt pen hadn't dried, surprisingly enough. I've never had an issue where the felt pen hasn't dried. It's smudged a little bit there. It doesn't matter. But I don't know why it didn't dry, because over there I used the thinner end of it. I'm just really surprised. It wouldn't be the oil that's moving it, because the Pergocolor's exclusives are water. They react with water. And for the polychromos to blend it, we are using dorso oil, which is oil. So it's not a case of that it's reacting because of the oil. I don't know why it didn't dry, because it's never happened before. They've normally dried very quickly. But there you go. That's life. And in life, you can expect the unexpected. And we just go with the flow. Too much oil, too much oil, too much oil. I've got too much oil. I'm just going to put some more color and spread that, because the color is coming off. Again, you know, your Pergolina B pencils, polychromos, they're very safe ways to they're very safe to color with, because you can add more, blend it, you can take off if it becomes too strong. So if you're worried if you haven't done coloring before and you're worried, then definitely go with your Pergolina pencils and blending it this way. It's a safe way of doing it, of adding color to your work. A bit more carefully than what I'm doing, because I am going outside the lines quite a bit. But because I'm using regular parchment, I'm not too worried, because I can erase. If I was using colored paper, colored parchment or rainbow parchment, then that would take the color off the parchment if I use an eraser pencil. If you're using colored parchment and you need to take the color off, if you've gone outside the line art, then use a clean nib and dorso oil on it to wipe it off. Don't use your eraser pencil. I've got some darker than others. So again, I'm going to just put a bit more color on those that are lighter. And just add a bit of color like this. This is still very wet. I'm not doing very well with the circle bit. Everything else was fine, but inside here, for some strange reason, it's just too wet. Okay, you know what? Let's sort this in a different way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a dry nib. Have I got another orange dry nib? Of course I don't. Of course I don't have another orange. Never mind, let's get so I've put a dry nib just to soak up the oil. But you can use a kitchen towel as well to soak up the oil. I just don't want to take it. So the reason I didn't use kitchen towel is because what's going to happen is I'm going to take off the color as well. And I quite like this strong color. With the kitchen towel, it's just going to take off the color as well. Whereas the nib will keep most of the color still on. So there we go, that's it. So now to just tidy up, if you have gone outside the lines, like I have, just very quickly, I'm not going to like stress too much over it. Now, if you're using, for example, your backing paper is designer paper, it's not going to matter, right? Because designer papers have got patterns on them, so you don't really notice. But I'm using a plain backing paper, so I just want to make sure it is a little bit neat and tidy, just a bit. I'm not like going to she says I'm not going to go overboard, continuing, but I'm not going to go overboard. Honest, someone stop her. Okay, leave it, Tina, leave it. Okay, I'm leaving it. I am leaving it. It is all fine. Let's take the extra off. Let's put the black thing on to show you what that looks like. This is what it looks like. And when I put it, oh my gosh, that's a bit shocking. It's always really worth trying a little scrap piece first. And putting it on your backing paper before deciding to do it on the main piece, because that is a bit very orange, right? That's a bit very, very, very orange. It's okay. It's pretty. I'm going with. I could take color off. So, for example, I definitely think it's very orange. I could tone it down by using kitchen towel dorsal oil and wiping it down a little bit. It will take a lot of the color off, but I like bright colors, so I'm going to stay with it. I'm going to keep it. And we are now ready to do our stitching bit. Well, first we need to perforate, right? So what I'm going to do is to perforate this, I'm going to first do a little section so I can just have the two pieces together before I take all the masking tape, low tack tape or groovy tabs or whatever you're using to hold your parchment piece to your backing card. You need to have your parchment piece front facing you this time, because we're going to perforate from the front. So I'm going to use a few groovy tabs to just hold together. I think I'm going to do the butterflies. Let's do some of these butterflies first. We'll start with the smaller butterfly to show you. By then, I'm pretty sure I'll be ready to take off the tabs. Now, my groovy tabs are very well loved. They're not very sticky. So I know as I'm perforating and stitching, they're going to start coming off. And I think that should be fine, but I'm going to keep it held down. Now I know, in the last two, you've seen me use just piece of folded paper. It's just a piece of just scrap folded paper that I'm going to protect my work with before I use a paper clip, because my paper clip, can you see the metal bit is showing? So I don't want it to scratch my parchment. So this piece of paper is protecting it, as well as the groovy tab there. The groovy tab would protect it as well. But I think with my paper clips, again, they're very well loved. So they've become quite, what do you call it? They've separated. So it just needs extra paper to hold things together. And I think that should be fine, but just to be absolutely sure, No, I'm going to leave it. So, you know, I've got Groovi tabs. I could just simply do this without the paper, but it's very loose. But I think it's fine because I've got the two here. It will keep it together. So if we start with the butterfly, let's start with the small butterflies. They'll be the easiest to show you to start off with. And then we'll work on the big butterfly. We'll do the whole circle first and work upwards to the rest of the design, because by then we'll have covered these that we put in. So all these will be exactly the same. And yeah, basically that's what we'll do. One needle fine tool, one needle bold tool is too thick. It will make very big holes, which won't be delicate anymore. Okay, so you want your, what's it called, perforating mat, your super foam. So I'm just grabbing that. Sorry, is the phone moving? And I'm going to put that on that. My super foam is in my bag, but I will use this one. I have got my old embossing mat. The first starter kits had this blue ones as your embossing mat. So I'm using that, and I've put my pico foam over it. And that will be the thickness of... it'll be the thickness of your super foam. So use your super foam. It's just my super foam is in the bag. So there you go. So many things I forgot to take out after yesterday. Let's start with the little butterflies, like I said. So one needle fine tool, and we're going to hold the tool upright and perforate over the dots. So you have options. You can perforate a little bit, stitch, perforate, stitch, perforate, stitch, or you can perforate the whole design out and then do all the stitching in one go. I think that's a personal preference thing. What I tend to do is I do a bit of perforating, a bit of stitching, then a bit of perforating, a bit of stitching, because I'm impatient and I like to see what the stitching is looking like as I go along. Today we will do a little bit, so we'll perforate out all the butterflies. Yes, we'll do the perforating on all the butterflies and then start stitching. Once we've stitched the butterflies in place, the parchment is not going to move on the backing card. Then we'll come back and perforate all the rest of the design on the tag, and then do all the stitching and attaching the beads and the sequins. The big butterfly as well. If you have done a big butterfly, this is the one time we need to really slow down, line our needle with the dots before we perforate. So take your time. So on the little butterflies, it's stitching, well, it's like a fan we've done in the last two sessions. On the bigger butterfly, this time round we've got a bit of back stitch for the center vein on the large wing, and then we are fanning outwards, almost like veins on a leaf. So it'd be nice to show you that, which you will see in some of the other embroidery plate designs. I haven't looked up to see if everyone is doing okay. I should. I think last time I was looking up a bit more and trying to read comments as I go along. I haven't done that today, so I'm really hoping everyone is fine. One time I actually become a little bit quieter. The concentration. Okay, I think. Oh, the butterfly body. Don't forget our flutterby's body. So the butterfly's body is all done as a back stitch, which I will show you. So if you haven't done stitching before and don't know what a back stitch is, not to worry. So here, where we have the 3 there, you can see the dots are really close to one another. You want to, you know, really slow down and make sure you line it up very accurately, because you don't want to end up with having one huge hole. Well, even if it does end up with one huge hole, you can always put a sequence or something over it. But that might be a bit weird, actually. Having a sequence right now, actually, we don't want one big hole. It'd just be a bit weird. Can you imagine a huge sequence just there? It would be quite funny. Okay. Oh, there I go. So I've got that much there. I'm not going to do the ones in the center there where I was going to stitch beads, because once I start stitching beads, what happens is that the thread gets caught in between. So if I'm going to be stitching sequins or beads, I do it right at the end, so the thread is not getting caught when I'm doing the rest of the stitching. I'm sticking to, once again, just the gold thread. You want it about, I don't know, arm length. I do get a bit carried away with how long I cut it. And I've lost my scissors. Let's use a crazy scissors. It's a massive scissors. And I'm using the needle that's on the Clarity website, which is this. Oh, I've got thread on there already. Well, who knew? Well, you know what? Let's not waste thread. So I've already got some thread on my needle from when I was playing. So I'm going to just use that thread for the moment. I'll give you a moment to thread your needles. Yeah. I'm going to start with, let me move it a bit lower, I think. I keep going off screen. I'm working very high off screen today. Okay. So we're going to start with any of your little butterflies. The easiest place to start is on these lower wings. Yes, because it's just one thread from one end to the other. Doesn't matter whether you go from here to there or there to here. It's still a straight line. Hi, Robin. So any of them, the smaller wings, and you're going to bring the needle from the back to the front. So I'm using very sticky masking tape to anchor my thread down. It's super sticky. If you don't have super sticky masking tape, you can use double-sided tape to anchor your thread down. So I'm just going to hold it down and stick this at the back and just give it a press so it doesn't come off. So that's my number one, and I'm going to go into the next hole on that wing. Yeah, so just there. Yeah, and pull it through. So there's our first stitch. Turn it round and do the same on the opposite wing. So the two small wings, there you go, that's done. Let's show you. I don't know if it will catch it, but there you go. If I move it about, it will, you'll see the gold shine through. So now what we're going to do is we're going to bring it to either, depending on what side your thread is on the back, you're going to bring it to the wing at the top, to this center hole here. Yes, either this center hole or that center hole. It doesn't matter which one. So my thread is closest to this wing here, so the center hole is there. Pull it to the front, and that's where we are. So now I'm going to create a fan. I'm going to go to the end there. Yeah, from center to the end hole, to the middle hole at the top where we had the 3, and back to the center on the front. Am I making sense? It's one we have done so many times, so I'm hoping everyone is okay doing this fan. And then back out to the last hole on that wing and back to the center. Repeat on the other side. So I'm going to take the thread to the opposite wing. I've brought it up on that center hole. So I'm going to go across here on the front. Then on the back, because I'm at that hole, I need to bring it across to the middle hole, back to the middle. I'll be on the back there, so I need to bring the thread back up here, up and back to the middle. Always going back into the center hole to create that fan shape. And last hole on there. So there we are. There's our first butterfly done. It was a butterfly that did not have any holes, but we have created our stitch dots on there to be able to do that. So any of your Groovi plates, you know, you can do that where you've got the empty space. You can create your own dots and holes to turn them into embroidery designs. This was on a small scale, but you can do them on larger designs too. So once again, I'm going to do the 2 smaller wings first, and then come back and do the 2 larger wings on the little butterfly. So depending on how many butterflies you have. If I'm going too fast, please just put a note down and I will slow down, because I don't know what everyone's design is, so it's a bit like difficult for me to judge whether I'm going too fast. Doing embroidery cards always takes just that little bit longer, because you have to get all your parchment techniques done first. So all your embossing, your coloring, if you're going to do picot cutting, all that needs to be done first, and then the stitching. So it's almost, you know, you're doing, well, you are, to be honest, doing a lot more work than just when we do regular parchment cards. So there we go, that's the last hole. Is it playing? Are we good? I don't know. Someone? Is it working? I'm hoping the battery is fine on there now. I have plugged it in. Have I plugged it in the other side? Can someone just let me know that the video is running or not? I'm I'm hoping it's all fine. Is the video playing? Can you guys hear me? All okay? Oh, great. Thanks, Sheila. To say whether it's charging or not, it hasn't come on. I'm hoping it's not going to go off. If it does go off, I guess this video will be in 2 parts. I'm so sorry. I even plugged it in the mains, but I forgot to plug it to my phone, which was a bit silly. So, yeah, thank you for letting me know. It is fine. I just hope that it is charging. I really hope it's charging because it didn't come up with the sign to say charging. We'll have to do it in 2 parts. So what we have here is this here. And if I show you that, here we go. So 2 little butterflies. So now this one here, on the lower wings, we have the same fan idea. So you're going to go from the middle hole out, and then you go to the next one, to the middle, out, to the middle, out, to the middle, out. Always, basically from the center hole, you're going to create that fan. Yes? So your 2 small wings, that's what it is. For the larger wings, it is slightly different. And I will show you that. So what we have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we've got 1 there. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. It's like a song. 3, 4, 5. So what we have, here, that's what we have. So the center vein for this one, we're going to do back stitch. Back stitch is basically where we come up here from the back and we go down here from the front. Yeah? On the back, you need to come to this hole, next one along, and you need to go back to fill this one. Yeah? You'll take the needle from the front to the back there, and you're going to come back to this hole. You're going to come up here, and then you're going to go there. There you're going to be on the back, so you need to come to this one, to the front, and then you're going to go back this way. This is why it's called a back stitch, because you're going this way, then you're coming this way. You're going this way, then you're coming this way. So I guess that's why it's called that. And then you'll have this one here. Yeah. Then what we want to do is like a leaf vein, where we have this sort of thing on a leaf vein is what we create here. So these dots, you're going to leave this first center one. You're going to come and create this shape coming to the center. Yeah, so leaving out the first one, it's up to you which way you work. You can go along one way, go back and work those, or you can create diagonals on either side. If it's something you have not done before, then going one way is easier, and then coming back this way, then doing this. Yes, it just depends. If you've done this before, then that is fine. But if you haven't, then maybe just doing all of them this way and then doing all of them this way might be easier for you. I'm going to do this one because I don't know if it's something you've done before. So I'm going to go this way and do these ones this way at the end. But first we need to get the back stitch done first. What what I'll do is I'm going to start with the bigger wing, because you know how to do the fan here, so you can work at your pace on that one. Let me show you this one first. So we're going to work on the back. We're going to do the back stitch on the middle vein. So you want to come wherever your thread is to the center hole at the base, which is this one here. Oopsie daisy. Yeah. So center hole, that one there. And then you're going to go into the next hole in the middle vein. Yeah. So we're on the back. On the back, we're going to go along to the next hole. So next hole. And this is where we're doing a back stitch, because we need to come back to that one and do our stitch. So now we've got 2 stitches next to one another. On the back, we go next one along, and on the front, we're going to go one along. On the back, one front, and once again, this becomes the back stitch where we go back one. Yeah, I hope that made sense. I'm going to take that clip off because it's getting caught. And then one more that's left along there, so one along there and to the center. So now we've got the middle vein there. Yeah, we've got the middle vein. What you want to do is, now again, it's not going to matter whether you do this side first or this side first. It's really not going to matter, so pick either side. You want to bring your needle to the next hole along that has no stitch on it, which is this one here. Yeah, so it, oopsie daisy, so it doesn't matter which side you do, because you're going to repeat it on the opposite side anyway. So I've come up at that hole. Yeah, so now what I want to do is I want to go, not this one right at the end, I want to go to the next one along, a bit like pretending that's our fan. So it's the second hole along. Yeah, second hole along there. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to bring it, so I'm working out of the center vein, or, so you've got to see, you've got options now. You can either, so I'm doing this way, I come back, actually it's better to go down the center, so next hole along down the center. I don't know what the instructions I did says. I don't have it with me. Again, I have no idea what I did with it. So now I want to bring it diagonal to the next hole on the outside of the wing. Yeah. And this will give it that, the shape of veins on a leaf. Now we're on the outside here, so we're going to go to the next hole along the outside, just there. And bring it to the center next hole along. And you can see the parallel lines beginning to happen. So on the back, now we are along the center vein. So one down and back out to the next hole. Yeah. Just there. We've got one more hole along that row to do, so I'm bringing it up on the last one there and bringing the needle down to the last hole along there at the point. Yeah, so we've done the one side. We're going to repeat the other side, but this time we're going to work from that end going upwards because our needle is already here. You can go, if you prefer, you can go back to the top and work downwards. It's absolutely up to you. But since my thread is already this side, I'll just go next hole along on the other side. It's like creating a fan, but we're just working with two arms. So there we go. And back to the middle. Yeah. So now center vein, we're at the center vein. I'm going to come to the next hole along the center vein and work out. Is it making sense? So center vein and back out. So next hole along that row, and this time we end up going into the center vein. Now we're on the center vein, next hole along that line and back out on the opposite side. I'm hoping that makes sense. And that's the last hole along there. And there we go. I'm assuming it's charging my phone because it hasn't switched off, which is a good thing. So you can see how it's created that vein, well, it looks like veins on a leaf. And you'll see this design a lot, this pattern on a lot of the designs within all the embroidery plates. So we're going to repeat on the other side of the butterfly wing exactly the same. So work your center vein in back stitch first. So there's our front. We're on the back. We go one stitch along. And then on the front, this is where we go back one. Yeah. And we're going to repeat that all the way along to the top. And continue. Thank you, Deborah. And we're just going to continue that. And at this point, I think I have enough stitching that I can take off the tabs and all that. So if you feel that it's getting in your way, you can take it all off. It's not going to matter. It's attached itself enough. We've stitched enough that it's not going to move now. So you can take all the extra stuff off. I'm just going to leave it on for me at the moment, and I'll take it off once I've secured the thread down because I don't have much thread left here. So I'm going to need to change my thread anyway in a minute. So I'll do it then. But if you prefer with the things, the tabs and everything still on, that's fine too. That's fine too. Oh, I don't know what I did there, but as long as on the front, I mean, you know, you saw I went like here, I've gone across here this way, but on the front, as long as I come out at the right place to give me these diagonals, it really doesn't matter. So there's lots of different ways of stitching this particular design. You know, the design that looks like veins on leaves, lots of different ways. And the more you do this, you'll just, oops daisy, not that one. You'll just find a way of working it however way you find it easiest. And you'll find with any of the embroidery stitches, other than the fan shape, on the back, you will always be going forward one, But on the front, some designs you will be going front, then back on the front. But on the back, it will be mostly always going one whole front. So, oh, there we go. So I'm going to secure that down because I think I've come to almost the end of the thread. And then I'll reattach. It's stuck to me. So which way should I go? Let me go this way. If I go over, I don't want to go over the holes I haven't stitched yet. I mean, it doesn't matter because when I put the needle through, I'll make those holes again, but I try and avoid it. So I'm just anchoring the thread, pressing that down, and I'm going to cut off the excess. I don't know where my embroidery scissors are. I'm going to need them though, because this scissors is not going to let me get my thread off. Might need to use a one needle tool to get the thread off. Because, you know, I tied the knot there, but the one needle tool will take the knot off. Well, it honestly does take the knot off. Just not live. It doesn't take the knot off. That's so funny. Of course, it had to happen now. I've never done this before, you know, where this has happened. But obviously it had to happen now, live. That's okay, because if that happens, I'm getting rid of this thread anyway. So there we go. I probably should have done that first. Oh my gosh, really? Like, really? It really just wants to embarrass me now, doesn't it? Okay, you guys just continue. I'll be here a while. It's either that or I get up and look for my scissors, my finer scissors, to get to the end of this. Of course, it would have been quicker to get another needle actually. That would have been quicker, but then if I did that, you wouldn't see that it's okay. It's okay. It happens. It's life. Okay, so I'm going to thread the needle. I'd cut some earlier. So I like to thread my needle over the light box. As long as I can see the eye of the pin opposite me, it's easy to push the thread, well, through the eye, relatively easy. And if you haven't seen me do this before, if I'm using metallic thread, I like to tie just a knot at the end, leaving a little tail like this. What that does is it will stop the needle sliding up and down the metallic thread, because when the needle is sliding up and down the thread, that is what frays it. So by tying the knot, it sort of stops it from doing that. So I've brought it, so I'm doing the lower wings now, fan shape, fan in there, and the base hole, the middle hole at the base, and I'm going to anchor that down. Yeah, I should have used another needle. It would have been quicker, definitely, Hillary, than what I was trying to do. And it's not that I don't have the needles here. I have the needles here. I just don't know what I've done with the scissors. So one end, start one end, and we're going to work around. It doesn't matter which end. Oopsie daisy. Oopsie daisy. I just got caught. There we go. So along the next hole and back to the center. So now we're going to go back out to that hole and back to the center, always coming back to the center and fanning outwards on the outside. Oops, daisy. I'm getting caught on everything here. There we go. And then the repeat on the other side of the wing. So I'll just neaten that up a little bit, pull it along so it sits neatly and back out this way. The body of this butterfly, it's backstitch all the way along as we did for the center vein on the large wings. And once you start stitching these, they're like small elements. They're very quick to do. Oopsie daisy, that got caught on the tag, the beads on the tag on the other one. And this is why I need to learn to have a cleaner desk and not put things randomly everywhere. Hold on, just not sitting neatly, so I'm just going to pull it along just a bit, give it a little tug. And oh my gosh, I was supposed to take the pins and things off, wasn't I? That would have made it easier, actually. Let's do that. I'm going to take all these tabs and things off, especially the paper clips, because the needle is getting caught between all these paper clips. I'm just going to take, I'll leave the tabs on because the needle's not going to get stuck there, but they're getting stuck where the paper clips was. So we've got that. So now it's back stitch for this, for the body. I'm going to come to the base here and work my way upwards. So base here. And one forward. I'm on the back. One forward on the back. Now on the front, I need to go back one. Yeah. On the back, I'm going one forward. This time round on the front, I need to get to the next stitch. And we continue that all the way along. And it gives you a really nice sort of straight line. No patterns, it'll just give you a nice straight line with the thread. Well, nice straight curved. Can you have a straight curved line? That even doesn't sound right, straight curved line. But you know what I mean, right? You know what I mean. Contradiction. So we're going to come to the point where it is, you know when I showed you earlier where the three dots are very close to, oopsie daisy, close to one another. Bring it to that point and basically you're still going to do back stitch. You're still going to do back stitch, but you're going to come back to where the fork, oopsie daisy, now what's happening here? Stop it, needle and thread, behave. So we've got to that point where, let me pull the thread through and show you. Okay, so we've come to the end here where I showed you the holes are very close to one another. So at this point we need to continue the back stitch along one of the forks, doesn't matter which one, and then once we've got to the end one here, we'll need to bring the needle back to the base of the set of 3 and work the other fork the other way, but still all back stitch. So it doesn't matter which fork you take, you're still doing the same back stitch all the way along there. And that's the last hole. So now to show you so there's one fork. So now we want to come back to where the base is, which is this one here. Let me put my needle partly there to show you which one. That one there. There you go, that one there. I don't know if it will show, but at the base. Yeah. And you're going to work the other side of the antennae. Is that what it's called? I think so. Antenna. I don't know. One is plural, one is singular. So that's our large butterfly done. There we go. So that's the large butterfly done. And how pretty does that look? That looks so pretty. Yeah. So what I'm going to now go ahead and do is I am going to go ahead and just perforate all the holes on there using the fine one needle tool before we continue with the stitching. You can do a little bit at a time if you wish. I'm just going to do it all the perforating and at least put the needle tool away for the moment, unless, you know, if I've forgotten to perforate a hole or something, then I might need it. So I know for certain I have put a few too many of these on mine. I will be here for a while. I don't know how many all of you have put. But once I've shown you a few, if you need to go, at least you know what to do with them. I think we did them for when we did the Christmas tree. They created little snowflakes. But you can turn them into stars too. And I'm not sure we'll get around to doing that. What's the time? Oh my gosh, it's 4 o'clock. Do you know what, guys? We're going to be here for a very long time again. It's really bad, isn't it? I'm just so bad with timekeeping and keeping within a certain time frame. There's too many things I want to show. Oh, the silence. And you know what? I said to myself, keep dinner ready. And did I? No, of course not. Of course I didn't. My poor babies. So turn your work. And we continue. I don't think I've caught up with, I just realized I don't think I've caught up with everyone's tags from last week. This week has been really like absolute, it's been chaotic, to be honest. Not just with family and things, but also for the shows, the prep and things for the shows. But on Saturday, no, Friday we brought mom from the care home for a few hours, and she's been asking for a while to be brought home and things. Not, I don't know, it's one of those things. She remembers a lot of things, but there's other things she doesn't remember. And it had been a while since we brought her home. So she's always saying, you know, why won't you take me home? Why won't you take me home? So on Friday anyway, we brought her home for a few hours. She was happy to come home, but at the same time, there were things that really bothered her because she's become used to a certain way at the care home. You know, from the napkins they use, whereas, you know, over here we have towels. So it was like really weird. She was happy, but not happy. Does that make sense? Yeah. I mean, by the time I go back to her tomorrow, she'll have forgotten that she had even come. And then it will be like the full routine again of, you know, I haven't been home for so many years. Because with, yeah, certain things she forgets. Certain things, if she wants to remember, she does remember. It's weird how the brain works, right? Certain times she's so logical, it makes you wonder that is this a candid camera or something, and you're absolutely fine, and you're just seeing how we respond and react to certain things. Very logical. I can't think of an example, but yeah, I sit there and sometimes I'm wondering, really, Mom? And yet when I tell you something as simple as don't throw the food on the floor, you're not understanding what I'm saying. Yeah. Amazing, the human brain, isn't it? It's very sad. It's very sad. But amazing at the same time how it works. I hope all of you are not waiting for me to finish here. I know it's taking me quite a while. It is upsetting, very emotionally draining, Catherine. You're right. You know, so normally if we go sit with Mom every single day. So if one of my sisters is not here, it's me sitting every single day for a few hours. And I generally tend to say, okay, I didn't get this much work done today. I'll come back from the care home and work in the afternoon, evening, whatever time I get back. But I am seriously so exhausted. And I sometimes wonder why I'm so exhausted, because honestly, I'm just sitting there. I'm literally just sitting there. And yet, I come back feeling so tired that I really can't work. Even if I wanted to, I just can't. And it's upsetting because, you know, there are certain things she doesn't understand, she gets upset over, and you can't explain it to her. You just cannot explain it. It's a horrible illness, horrible illness. I don't think I would want anyone to go through it or their relatives to go through it. And it's surprising, you know, how so many people are affected by it, get affected by it. It's an illness that robs the whole family, not just the person who has the illness. I am so sorry if you're waiting for me to finish. I think I got a bit carried away with all this. Have I done them all there? Yeah. Let's do these ones finally. So once again, these two holes at the ends of this shape, almond shape, they're quite close. So definitely take your time perforating those. And I forgot to mention that you can perforate a hole on the center of the antennae on the butterflies where we had the circles. We'll bead it later, we'll bead it at the end, but if we perforate while we're doing all the perforating, for example, at least we can put the needle tool away. And I'll show you in just a minute. So let me turn it over this way. So inside all these circles, well, I'm going to put a bead in those. So I'm just going to perforate. There we go. If you're not going to put a bead on there, you could just glitter it, to be honest. So you don't need to worry about, you know, making the hole. And the bead I use are little small seed beads. I think, wow, beads have size numbers, and those are 11. You get even teeny tinier ones, which are 15. Size 15, and they're super cute, super teeny tiny. Next size up, you get 15, 11. I think there is an 8. The larger the number, sorry, the smaller the number, the larger the bead, which is just really weird. In my head, that really doesn't make sense. You almost want it to be the smaller the number, the smaller the bead, but it's the other way around. So in these big circles, I'm going to put a sequence and a bead. But once again, you know, you can have just glitter. Or some of you may have embossed them, I don't know. These flowers are literally, you're going to go from the outside to the center, outside to the center, outside to the center. A fan, yeah, it's pretty much a fan, but it's a fan sort of in a circle, if that makes sense. Because you're still working from the center out. Almost there. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, sorry about this. I would love to say next week it will be a shorter session, but I'm not even going to say it anymore. There we go. I think I've got them all there. I'll keep the one needle tool on the side, and just in case I need it, in case there's a hole I have not seen and needs doing. Oh, thank you, Robin, and you're most welcome. I love these sessions. I just wish Facebook Live somehow had a way that they could do it that we can actually hear the other person. It's sort of very strange. It feels like I'm talking to myself, but I do like just, you know, every time I look up, I know you're there, you guys are there, and it's just nice. It's spending time with you guys. Okay, where am I? I'm here. So what I'm going to start with is I'm going to do, let me show you these little flower shapes. So once again, bring the needle at any hole. So these hexagon, well, they look like a circle here. But when we started, well, I think I said hexagon. So we come up, yeah, at any one hole, doesn't really matter which hole. And you're going to go directly opposite hole. There we go, directly opposite. So you've got 2 holes left on one side, 2 holes on the other side. On the back, you're going to go up any side, doesn't matter. Next hole, bring it up and directly opposite on the other side. You have 1 hole remaining on that side and directly opposite in the 1 hole that's left, and you have a cute little snowflake there. Yeah. So the numbers on seed beads are the number you get side by side in an inch. Ah, that makes sense now. Thank you, Celia. Do you do beading, Celia? That makes sense now. Who would have, well, obviously they thought, and I was going to say who would have thought. But yeah, they would have thought. That's why they called it. They numbered it how they numbered it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all the flowers inside this flower, all these ones in the flower done first, before we do the scallops around here. So just locate where all your flowers may be and just jump from one to the other. You don't need to finish your thread and restart your thread because it's really not worth it. You'll spend longer doing that than just jumping from one to the other. Is everyone okay? Anyone not okay with this? And if your needle gets all like curly whirly, tangly, and just lift it and let it unwind. Well, lift your tag and let the needle unwind. And then you continue again. Where's my next one? Should I go this way or should I go this way? Should I go this way? This way. Let's go this way. Might as well go this way. Oh, you do jewelry making? Cool. Like threaded jewelry? Or with wire? Or both? Thank you, Nahid. I'll catch up with you at some point. So I've got 2 more in here just as well. I didn't put a few more. We could be here forever. Someone's doing fireworks? I thought everything was over now. I'm not sure why there's still fireworks going on. Whoopsie daisy. Where's my needle? Megan was peeping through the curtain, and I thought she was trying to say something to me, and all I could see is her shaking her head, and I'm like, okay, what happened then? I don't know what happened there. That was a bit weird. There we go. So depending on how many of these you have put, you'll still be doing them, or you may already be finished. Now, I don't have my downloads thing here. Do you know what? I don't even know where I've put the printout of the stitch guide. One should never clear up in their workspace, because what happens is that when you do that, you just forget where you've put certain things. So I don't have the stitch guide. But this one here is basically, you're going to come to the point, so wherever your thread is closest to one of these center ones, you're going to bring it to the front, to the point of the scallop, like here, yeah? And you're going to work into, I think it's the 6th hole. I can count back. So here, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we've gone into the 6th hole. So we've gone point there, and we're going to go into the 6th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On the back. So you're going to go 1 along, away from where we came. So we came from there, so we're going away from it. 1 along, and coming back to the 2nd hole there. So 1 forward along the back, and this time we'll be going forward 1. 1 forward on the back, and this time we will be going back 1. Mainly threaded. Donna, sorry, which company? Oh, was it Riverside Beads yesterday? I think it was Riverside Beads, wasn't it? Sorry, I don't know the lady's name though. But when I went in, there was a lady who was oh my gosh, she was making the cutest elves and can you say elfesses? Elf. What's a girl elf? Yeah, she was making the cutest one, seriously. And then I forgot later to go back and because I wanted some, but I forgot. So I'm not sure if if that's Donna Celia, but I think it was Riverside Beads. And she had this snowflake as well, actually. Oh my gosh, I was so in love with that snowflake as well. The beaded snowflake. That was really beautiful as well. And back to the center one there, to the middle one there. So now we've got our semicircle all stitched. Yeah. Now what we have here is that over here when we started from the back and we came up. By the time we got to the end here, we've gone from the front to the back. So our thread is on the back. If we brought the thread back to here, we're just going to take this thread off. So this time round, what we need to do with this semicircle is we need to count to the 6th hole on the back, and work the other way around. So this was the first one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going into the hole we just came, well, the previous hole we just came back from. So into this middle one there. And you'll find with the alternate scallop, that's what's going to happen. So again, one forward on the back and along the next one there. So again, the same as we go along. And this time with this scallop, you're going to finish the scallop on the back. So you'll find that alternate, you'll be either going 6th hole from the front or, well, either, or 6th hole from the back. If that makes sense. Yeah, it was Riverside beads. Yeah, those elves were gorgeous, seriously. They were the cutest elves. Where is it stuck? They were the cutest elves ever. Okay, I'm getting caught. I'm going to trim some of this thread off. I really need to find my embroidery scissors though, because this is not work. These scissors are too big. So you just continue all the way along. Now can you tell I want to use as much of my thread as I can before I change it? I should change it. I should change it. Otherwise, I'm going to have no thread to lay left to be able to anchor it down. Okay. Let's anchor it down. So I'm pulling it on one side. Thread masking tape down, just press it down and trim off the excess. There we go, and take this off, she says, and here we go again. You know, next time around what I'm going to do is I'm going to have like lots of needles pre-threaded. Well, that was better. There you go. It's come off. And with my thread, so I'm going to get arm's length of thread. And you re-thread. So I don't know if do I need the light wave? I need the light wave. Sorry, I'm talking to myself as I'm trying to thread the needle. Actually, I'm saying I need the light wave, but I'm not turning the light wave on because it's like almost I've got super amazing eyesight, which I don't, but I'm pretending I do. Hi, Helen. I hope you were doing something nice. You can always watch it on once it's uploaded later. Where did I stop? I have no idea. I have no idea where I stopped. Which way was I even going? I think I was going this way. It really doesn't matter to be. Oh, here. I've stopped here. That's where I stopped. Yes. So I'm going to start again from where. So here's, I know I'd stopped there. It's this curve I'm doing because I've got my masking tape there. So if I was doing it, I know it would have been the next hole along there. I think I cut my thread a bit long again. It's super long actually. It's super long. But it's okay because I've tried the knot. It's not going to fray. The only thing is it's going to get caught on every corner of everything on this table. So there we go, and cut down, and next one along. Okay, I'm gonna need to move so that it's not getting caught on the corners of my embossing mat and things. Oh my gosh, this is such long thread. I think this is the longest thread I've ever cut. And back. So, oh my gosh, that's that's so long. Don't cut it as long as I have cut it. You went out for lunch with family. That sounds good. Making lots of happy memories. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cutting your thread this long is not advisable. I'm such a bad judge when I'm doing things, honestly, of how much I need. Sometimes I think it's only an arm length. It's only when you start stitching you realize it was like about 10 arm lengths. Well, not quite that extreme, but yeah, you know what I mean. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. It's going to take me longer to do this because I'm pulling the thread like all the way across. And how are we doing for time? 4:30. Well, I think we will be shorter than 10 hours. Oh, so 10 hours. We'll definitely be shorter than 10 hours. Shorter than 4 hours. I don't think I could do 10 hours. Actually, no, do you know what? I think I could do 10 hours. Quite easily. If it's this, I definitely can. Not today, though. Not today. Not after yesterday. On another day, definitely. We'd have to start a lot earlier, though, to do a 10-hour. Oh my gosh, but how cool would that be? That would be like so cool. I don't know what project I would do to keep it going for 10 hours. Or could do lots of mini projects. Not sure most of you would want to sit here and listen to me waffle for 10 hours. Maybe over Zoom it would be better. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because at least over Zoom you can have a conversation. Oopsie daisy, you're going back, Tina, not forward. We're not doing a back stitch here. Do you know, I'm quite tempted to try that, a 12-hour session over Zoom. Could do it for charity again. Like set it up next year and for charity, do it like a workshop, but all the money goes to the charity and do a 12-hour session. I think I could do that. Thank you, Helen. That's what I just said. Yeah, I was just thinking that we could do it for charity. That would be really cool. And I think, you know what, Helen? We're going to sort this one out. We're going to do this next year. Do lots of mini things. Don't you think it would be better over Zoom as well, though, rather than as a Facebook Live? I think it would be better over Zoom because at least we can have a conversation in between. Rather than, you know, where I can't hear you at the moment. Well, any of you, not just, you know, but over Zoom would be so much better. Yeah, there you go. We've got Catherine on board as well. Who else is in? And we do this for charity. We'll need to decide how much for the, not, I wouldn't say ticket, but how much we should each person contribute. What's a reasonable amount? I would have to look into it. I don't know how much, these people who do, Zoom sessions and things online, how much they charge if it's for charity. I mean, our aim would be obviously to raise as much as we can. But then if you keep it a lower amount, maybe we can have more people joining. If it's expensive, then fewer people can join in because it's hard for a lot of people financially. Oh, your mom too has Alzheimer's, Sue? It's heartbreaking, isn't it? It's just so heartbreaking. I mean, my mom, from the time she wakes up in the morning, okay, I've done something wrong here. Oh no, I haven't. I'm coming back to the center one there. I have done them all. From the time she wakes up, the dementia she has, it's one that makes her, well, it's going to make her more and more angry and more aggressive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So from the time she wakes up to the time she goes to sleep, literally she's just shouting and screaming, and she thinks she's reading. We bring her in the room for the afternoon, give her a paper. She's not reading. She's just moving her head left to right, thinking she's reading, but she's not. She's just shouting and screaming through all that. When she lies down, she's screaming and shouting. And yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. She's on medication, is still at home. Must be really difficult for your dad. It's definitely not easy to look after, well, anyone who is sick, but I think when it's something like Alzheimer's or dementia, I think it's harder. I don't know. For me, I'm struggling more looking after mom, even though she's in a care home. I'm struggling more with it than I did with my dad. My dad's was more physical, whereas with dementia, it's more like mental, right? And there's so many different types of dementias, and you could have the same dementia, for example. There's so many different categories, and yet your symptoms could be completely different to the person next to you. Okay, what have I done here? And this is why we shouldn't have a thread that is like super long, because now I have completely got it all caught up. He's very patient, oh bless him. I always thought, like, for example, I was very patient. I always thought I was so patient. Now I'm realizing I am not as patient as I thought I was. On some days, I don't know if mom is throwing a bigger tantrum or whether I'm throwing the bigger tantrum. And they say you shouldn't argue with them. You shouldn't, you just okay everything. But something in me just doesn't let it be okay. I want to argue back with her. I want her to see reason, even though I know she's not going to see reason. I want her to. And that's what I'm saying. I don't know if I'm throwing more of a tantrum or if she's throwing more of a tantrum. 6. Very hard. Everyone is different. Well, you know what? We will have to sort out this thing for charity for next year. Let's get Christmas done. Let's get settled back down after the first week or two in January. And then we're going to set it up. And we're going to do a 12-hour session. And I'll have to see what we want to do. Sorry, it's just getting caught on everything. Almost there with at least this bit. We've got a little bit here that's left to do. And again, it is one that it's fairly quick to do. It won't take us very long. I think what makes it take long, I mean, this design on its whole, it's a very quick design to do. It's just that I got a bit carried away with how much I've put on, like from the little snowflakes to, you know, everything else. I added a little bit too, that it ended up, yeah, with a lot more. So I don't mind. If I'm going to make a tag, I'm going to make it very pretty. You know? I've lost track now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But each one is slightly different now. This is the third one using the same 2 plates. And each one is just slightly different. It's got a different variation. So lots of ideas to play with. Okay, my needle is gone all twirly-whirly. Yeah. And my knot is about to come off too. One here. Which way am I going now? Am I going the right way? Yeah. So if you've done the little snowflakes on the corners, it is exactly the same as we did the center ones. I'm going to jump to these 3 in here. And then I'll do the snowflakes after that. So for this one, have I got to the end? Yeah. So for this one, we're working in semicircle. So we're doing one half and then we're doing the other half. So it doesn't matter whether you start this way and go this way, or whether you start this way and go this way. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to just, wherever my thread is the closest, I'm going to jump to that one, pull it over, and in this one, it goes. So that's number 1, where we've come out, and we're going into the 4th hole along here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And as we did before with the semicircle, next one along, and back to the next one here. Along there, along there. So you exactly the same, except this time we went into the 4th hole as opposed to the 6th hole. There is a download on the Clarity website under downloads. So if you haven't downloaded like the enlarged version of which hole to go into, then just go to the Clarity website and they have it as a download. So now we've come to this. Yeah, so we've done one half. We're going to do the same on the other side. Now on this one, we started this way and come this way. You could go back and come this way. I'm just going to jump across to the next and do this side. The only thing that will be different is where your top string sits. So on this one, your top string is there. On this one, your top string will end there. Doesn't matter. To be honest, it doesn't really show. So this one is a very quick one to do because there's fewer holes and smaller design. But we have to do the flower in between. So next we'll do the flower in between so I can show that one to you. And like I said earlier, it's exactly like we do the fan, but this time around we're going in a circle. And it's the center hole that's our, well, middle hole sort of thing. So for the flower, we start in the center there, we bring it out, and we go into any of the petals out, yeah, any of the petals. There we go. Bring it to the center hole, and you go out to the next petal, back to the center hole, and to the next petal. So you can see that, yeah. So you're always coming back to the center and back out. I know, it's really hard not to argue, Sue. I try not to argue, but I just can't stop myself. And yet I'm supposed to understand. I think I'm becoming a child as well, hanging out with her. I'm becoming a child as well. So we've done that design. So we've got this, look at the cute flower in there. So, you know, I think this flower looks super cute on its own. On this one, I have put a bead in the flower center, but I think I've lost the stitching in there. You can't see the stitching because the bead is very big. I think for this design itself, I'm not going to put a bead on the center of the flower here because I've lost the stitching. I will do the sequins and the beads on there, but not on the flower itself. It's such a shame to lose that. It's so cute. So it seems a shame to lose that with such a big bead. If you had a smaller bead, then, you know, it's a different thing. But my beads are, well, they're quite big. So I'm going to jump to the next almond shape. Doesn't matter which side. And again, from 1 to 4. And we continue with the 2 remaining in exactly the same way. So back and forth, back and forth. And what I have forgotten to do is put the beads out. So I need to grab my packet of beads. And unless I have some here, I don't know. Do I have some here? I've only got bright orange ones. Look at that. I've got bright orange ones. I'm not sure I want them that bright orange on here. I think you won't see any of the other design if I put that bright. This is looking so pretty. Such a pretty tag. Does anyone go through their tags that they have made? Because I know some of you have been following it, you know, have been joining me from the beginning. and you probably have a collection of tags happening. I know some of you have made them into cards, put them on cardstock and made them into cards. But for those who have kept their tags, if you've kept them as tags, do you go through them? Every now and then I go through my tags and I've just got this smile on my face. I just love tags, and each one is slightly different. I just love doing them. I mean, if I was to put this on a card, to be honest, it's going to take the same amount of time to do. So in a way, it's like, why am I doing a tag when I could be making it into a card? Yeah, but it's going to take the same amount of time. A small card, not a large card. I like it. I like it. So almost there. Getting there slowly, but it's looking very pretty. And the last bit on this thing, oopsie daisy, I've got a visitor. I heard the doorbell. Well, the kids are going to entertain them. Oh, I can't see the hole. It's there. I can see the hole, just the needle doesn't want to go through. Thank you, Catherine. It is looking very pretty. And I think, you know, once you get into the flow of it, it doesn't take that long to stitch. It's just getting into the flow. I mean, I'm stopping and starting a lot just to explain things. But if you were to do it, do this in your own time, sort of without me interrupting every few minutes, try this, try that, do this, do that. I don't think it would take you very long. Well, I hope not anyway. But, yeah. And in different colors. I think I want to repeat this one in different colors. Pink being the favorite. Just saying. Have I said I like pink? And last one there. So the middle flower, center hole, and working out again. And again, it doesn't matter whether you go clockwise, anti-clockwise. Wow, as long as you go to the next one. I think I'm going to end this thread because the knot is about to come off anyway. And then I'll do the flowers that are remaining and the sequence at the end. And grab the last bit of thread. Or can I go across? I think I can go. I can make it last a little bit longer. There's still quite a bit of thread. Does anyone else use their thread as much as short as they can get it? These metallic threads that Clarity have Oh my gosh, there's so much on one roll. I am still on my first roll from when the first set of embroidery plates came out. And trust me, I've done a lot of embroidery using this gold thread. And I still have I've still got loads on that roll. I can't remember how many 100 meters are on the gold thread. Well, and the silver and the copper, all the colors they have, to be honest. But yeah, I've still got so much thread. But even then, I will use it right up to, uh-oh, it's about to come out. I'll use as much as I can before I get rid of it. Actually, I'm going to have to get rid of it because it's going to get undone any minute. But she says doing one more here. Now over here, can you see it's quite a long way from here to there? So just so that it doesn't work loose, I'm just going to secure it a teeny tiny bit. I'm just going to anchor it down. So I'm just going to pull it and just anchor it down so it just doesn't lose. Only just for extra. Yeah, just for extra. Full stop. It's so bad. Yeah, and yet, Helen, you know, we have a lot of thread on these rolls. We don't need to be this, like, yeah, stingy? Is stingy a word? With it? But no, I'm stopping here. I'm definitely stopping this thread here. Because it's about to come off the needle anyway, any point now. So I might as well just anchor it down and just get a new bit to do the rest of the design. So this bit, and I'm going to cut this bit. Seriously, I need to find my embroidery scissors because this is getting a bit silly now. Sorry, it's me and my one needle tool again. Oh no, not again. There we go. I'm getting the hang of using the one needle tool to take out to remove the thread now. Okay, this time let's not have it as long as I had it then. That was a bad idea. And rethread it. Light wave on. There we go. Okay, tie a knot. There we go. Get some masking tape ready. Okay. Where am I? Where was I? How am I here? Where did I go from there? Am I missing something? How weird is that? Look, I've got a thread there that's coming there. So where did this one go? It should come out there. Look, isn't that weird? There's a thread. Oh no, it's not. I'm thinking there's a thread in there, but it was just the loose end. And I'm like, I don't understand. Defying nature here. Sorry. Oh, Tina. That's so funny. And there we go. Let's anchor that down. Oopsie daisy. Move the scissors and things out of the way. I have 4 more. I don't know how many you guys have. And, well, for all I know, you guys are finished. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There we go. Has anyone finished theirs? Well, other than the sequins and the beads. But then you may have even done that. Is that opposite? Yeah. These ones you could make into stars as well. So to make a star, you would go 2 into each hole. So by the time you do 2 from each hole, you get a star. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, you would. Just play with it. I can't think at the moment. I'll have to do that. I think I'm going to have to add it into the next week's one. And I must show you next week's one actually, because it's so pretty. We're going to create a frame using the Platemate, but also just a simple flower from the Platemate to create the design. And I will show you while I grab my beads. As soon as I get this little bit done, I'll grab my beads and I'll put that on the screen so you can look at it. It's super pretty. It's a super pretty tag. And do you know what? I'm not even going to say we're going to finish early next week. It's not even worth saying it anymore. I guess because we are creating a lot of the design from scratch, that it will may take us a little bit longer. But alongside the Platemate, we're using one of the little baby embroidery plates. I will show it to you. I don't know if I've got the embroidery plate out, but I'll show you the tag itself. So what I'll do is I'll put that on the side while I grab my beads, and you can look at the one for next week while I grab my beads. So there you go. Have a look at this one here, and I will be back. I am just across here, hopefully not knocking millions of things down. Let me grab some beads. Here's my beads. Let me grab my sequins. Here's my sequins. Yeah, I was really pleased with it. I really like that tag. So we're going to have a go at that one where we're creating the frame and all that kind of stuff. So here on here, this frame here has been created from the Platemate, the new Platemate, and the flower and the elements on here is from the Platemate as well. So I'm going to show you how you can create that sort of an effect using the Platemate. It's similar to what we did today, to be honest, you know, but just on a slightly larger scale. So we'll do that next week. Coming back, I think some of you want to see my sequence box. Look, it's grown. My sequence box has grown. Look at how deep this is. And here's my happy box. Look at my happy box. I think this is so. Now look, if I was to put my tag in my happy box, how pretty does my tag in my happy box look? Doesn't that look pretty? My happy box. All right. I'm going to grab 3 sequins. And I think I will go with maybe something a bit orangey. Now, sequins usually come in separate color packs or similar color options. Mixed pack, but similar colors. If you do not like getting your colors mixed up and spending hours and hours looking for them, don't do what I have done and throw them all into one box, because when you do this, it's really hard to find the colors you want. And you could be spending hours looking for the colors that you want. So don't do this. But I do this because I love sequins, and I love playing with sequins and running my hand through my box. It sort of makes me happy. So here's my 3 sequins. Here's my tag. So I'm going to put these here. It's a bit orange, orange on orange on orange, but that's okay. I think it looked pretty. It looked pretty. I'm going with that anyway, seeing as I found 3 of them. And these are my seed beads. So these are about size 11. I think they're slightly bigger than size 11. I don't know what size, but they are slightly bigger. I mean, for example, this one definitely says 11 on it, size 11 round, and they're a lot smaller. You see, they're a lot smaller than this. So I'm not sure what size that is. I don't know what next size up would be, to be honest. But it's definitely not a size 11. So you want small beads, because basically these two here are very close to one another. So if they're much bigger than this, they're not going to sit nicely there. They'll just be on top of one another partially. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my thread into one of these center holes there, up, and you're going to pick up the sequence. So the sequence dome, so you want the dome sort of outwards facing you. You're going to put your needle through. There's your sequence. You're going to pick up one bead. Oopsie daisy. One bead. Pull it through all the way down. So now what you're going to do is you're going to leave the bead on the side. Yes, you're going to leave the bead, and you're going to go through the sequence and the hole you came up from. And this will anchor the bead in place. There you go. And the sequence. Yeah. On to the next one. And dome up. Pick up the sequence. Pick up a bead. And you're going to go through just the sequence and the hole. So keeping the bead aside, just through the sequence and the oopsie daisy and the hole. And just make sure your string, your thread is nice and tight on the back. You don't want it to be loose here, otherwise the bead will become loose at the top. So up, I'm just going to pull it through and make sure it's tight. And once again, sequence and bead. Oopsie, the bead went flying. I've got zillions of beads floating all over the table and things with the beading I'm doing, with the bauble decorations. They just keep flying. They fly. And oopsie daisy, where is it caught? There's a knot somewhere. There we go. So that's the sequence all anchored. Yeah, it's so pretty. Look at that. How pretty is that? For the antennae, I'm just using beads. The sequence would be obviously too big. Even the smallest sequence would be too big. So this time, all we're doing is picking up a bead and going. So there's the bead, and going through the same hole, back down into the same hole. Put the bead, push the bead aside and go through the same hole. And that will anchor the bead. So for anyone who hasn't put beads on their work, on their embroidery work, that's how we do it. And I love putting beads on the embroidery work. I think it adds another dimension to the embroidery. So that's what I'm going to do for all of them. I think, you know, again, on the antennae, a smaller bead would have been nicer. But I don't have gold in smaller than this. So I'm just going with what I, oopsie daisy, with what I have. Oopsie daisy, there goes another bead. It's so bad. Thank you. I'm loving doing the baubles actually. They're so much fun to do, and they're not as difficult as I thought they would be. Yes, in the beginning I found it tricky to hold things and things, but the instructions are absolutely fantastic with the pictures and everything. The instructions make it so easy to do, honestly. So if anyone hasn't tried those beaded baubles that I've been showing, it's really worth getting a kit and just trying it. I've got it caught somewhere, and I'm not sure how, where, when I've got it caught, but it's caught somewhere. Now how do I uncatch it? I'm just making a mess now. Which way is it got? No, it's got this way. No, it's got this. Oh my gosh, like seriously? Can I go underneath? Here we go. It's this bit here. Right, now let's try and see which way. There we go. Have I uncaught it? No, I have not uncaught it. Oh my gosh, like really at this point you need to get caught like this? Help, someone jump out of Facebook Live and help. If only life was that simple. Oh, phew. I thought I was going to have to cut the thread and start and just redo that bit again. But this is why, you know, I said we'll come back and put the beads later, because especially if your thread is long, it does get caught. And oh look, it's caught again at that. And especially when you have beads and sequins, it gets caught even more. So make sure it's tight, and I have finished that. Just double check that you know you have done it all before you cut your thread. Sorry, I am just like making sure. Yeah. So I'm going to cut this, well, I'm going to anchor it down first before I cut the thread. And there we go, anchor down. And I'm going to cut that. Oopsie daisy, I cut it a bit long, didn't I? Hold on. Right, there we go. So we have this, and what I'm going to do is I am going to, what did I do with my embossing mat now? My black embossing mat. Here we go, black embossing mat. Let me move this out of the way. Put this here, put that there, and my glue runner tape pen. Oh, it's not even on screen before I went to get that. So there we go. And what I need to do is, we can see this is super messy on the back. We need to cover that. So I've cut out another tag here ready to mount. So I'm going to put the glue on this side. Do not use wet glue. So if you're just joining me for the first time, don't use wet glue, because wet glue will seep through the holes and it will get onto your parchment and buckle all that work. There we go. Oopsie daisy, come back, I need you. So I'm just going to cover that with this. So just line it up carefully, she says. And hopefully it's in line and not crooked. Just turn it over and just make sure. I'm not pressing it down till I'm absolutely sure I have got it aligned properly like I want it, and then I'll press it down. So there's our tag. Last bit left is the ribbon. So I've got a bit of white, a bit of orange, and I've got a different type of orange because you just cannot have enough ribbon. So I'm going to create a loop. I think it might be too thick actually for it to go through. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. Can I get all the layers through? Oh, it went through. It's so good when we surprise ourselves. So I want to go into, now I've really messed up, haven't I? I don't know which loop goes which direction. I'm sure it will work out. As long as I pull it through, I'm sure it will work out. So pull that, make sure you've got, like over here, it needs a bit more pulling to get it nice, neat. I mean, be careful. I am pulling, but I'm not pulling so hard that I might go through. It's a bit hard to go through, to be honest, because like you've got double cardstock, so you can pull it quite a bit. But if you're using thinner card, then just be careful how much you pull. So I'm going to trim off the excess, and I like to have, oops, my tag sort of different lengths. So I'll have some longer, some shorter. I just think, well, I like ribbon, so, and I like it at an angle, so I'm just going to trim that at an angle. So there we go. There's our tag. Well, that one's got a mind of its own. Look, this bit's got a mind of its own. Oh, never mind. It's okay. So there's our tag. All the 3 tags using the same plates. There we go. 1, 2, and 3. I hope. I don't know if it's in screen, the whole thing. Until it does. My laptop is always slower to what I'm showing here. So we've got the 3 tags here. And you can see that each one is slightly different. And yet they're all pretty. So you can definitely have a play and see, you know, if you like this design, you can always create more at any point. These 2 were done on orange parchment, and this one on the clear parchment. I think the colors are a lot more vibrant on this. On this I have put color there, but it's really hard to see that color. Maybe it's because the orange in itself is very, the orange is very orange, but also the color I've used on the back there, brown, it sort of gets lost. Whereas on the clear parchment, the colors really do pop, I think. So I quite like that. Okay, so that's that for today. And then for next week, I've already shown you that one, which was this one here. So we'll do that one. That's, I think, the final one in November. I'm not sure if I'm going to do one more in December because the fundraiser doesn't, well, they don't close the fundraiser till beginning of January, I think it said in all the blurb. So I may do one more in December. I will see. If you'd like to donate, I would be very grateful. The link is on my page. If you can share the post, I would be very grateful for that too. Thank you so much for joining me today. And we were not here for 4 hours. I can almost hear you guys saying thank goodness for that. But yeah, next week may be a little bit longer than today. We'll see. Have a good evening, the rest of the evening, whatever you get up to. And I'll catch up with all of you next week. Take care. Thank you. Bye.